Masechet Hullin Daf Ayin Tet Amud Aleph 14 lines down. Ba'alahu, they had a question. Mishpat Pshita Rabbi Yehuda in Hashin Zerav Odim Safuke Mesaf Kedai. When Rabbi Yehuda said before that we're not concerning ourselves with the fact that the father might be a different breed, does he know that for sure, or he's in Safek? He's doubtful. We might have to know what difference would it make. The Mishpat Parit Peri Imhaim makes a difference whether or not you're allowed to mate a child of a crossbreed animal with the same species as the mother. For example, if a mule was born to a female horse, can that mule be mated with a female horse? Different one. Yeah, Martin Shabbat definitely does not concern himself with the father. Pretty
Possible fracture.
then fish when pretty im shared in a child of a crossbreed of the species of mother is mutar because it's considered only the mother. If he's not sure whether or not we care about that, pretty im asur, it might be a problem to with even the same mother because the father might be an issue. My was halachah. Gemara Tashma is a proof. Rabbi Damri says, "Kol hanolim nafsu anything that comes from a female horse. Avishav yan hamor even the father donkey. Mutuin zebazeh they can marry each other. What's the mutar? What's the heter? Elam avodah hamor avodah hamor. If say both of them, the father's donkey. Tzricha then no hidush. They're the same, completely the same type. Allah must be to one case. The avodah has who's for avodah hamor. One case is a father's a horse, in one case is the father's donkey. The time of them, some mutar. Allah must be that he does not care at all from the father. Must be proof. The Gemara says, not a good proof. العلماء ده أبوه ده أحمر بعد الأحمر. They're both خمرين. ودك مرتي خمر. That's what you said before. It's obvious. It's not obvious. مرة تمين would have thought that to sad دسوس من شمش بسال حمار that technically, even though the father may not be a factor, but the child itself is considered part horse, part donkey. But حمار من شمش بسال horse, and therefore when it's the part donkey might be with this part horse. He's got parts of him that might be considered one animal. That might be a problem. Therefore, Kamash is saying it's not a problem. Tashmas bring another proof. Maybe we'll see. Rabbi Damir says, "Peridad shetavav, a female mule needs to mate. And marbina letos amor, you can't bring a horse or a donkey. Elamina has to be another type of male mule. Via Mart, if you know, say Mishal Shila, that it's obvious that he does not care about the father. Little bit alamina the imam, maybe you should allow it to mate with the same male that came from the same mother. Mar says not a problem. It's not a good proof. We don't know what the mother was. We mentioned before. He used his own kind. Something you do know. We can't mate with her anything directly from a pure horse or a pure donkey. Because you don't know what her right here. Okay. If you're not sure, check the signs. It says, if its voice is deep like a donkey, born from a female donkey. Senif Kalef, the voice is loud like a horse. Barsusia must be carrying the child of a female horse. Bamar Papa. Avravan Udnev is the ears are large and the tail is short, and Bar Hamra must be female donkey. Dutran Udnev the ears are small and the tail is long. Barsusia is female child of a female horse. So how come you can't check the horse? It's a mule that does not talk and its limbs are amputated, so you don't have to check. What's the maskana over here? What would be that? What's halacha? Ma tashma amar Rav Yeshua. Kol modin bepri imam asha. So everybody agrees that mating the product with the same type of mother is mutar. Shmamina safukim that that is in doubt whether or not you concern the father. Shmamina, it's a good proof. Otherwise, he would allow it. Amar Rabbi Abba l'shab'an bishma. Rabbi Abba told his assistant, "Imarat lik neraita b'serisfa. If you take two mules to my wagon together, ayin lahanach tedamyan. Now, did he make sure that they have similar ears and tails? Then you could do it together. It's not considered climb. Climb is not only breeding, but also the problem of having them next to each other while working. You can't have two different types of animals working together. Just make sure they look like. I'm not classifying actions at all. Must be over here. In fact, that he lets as long as they look like. Must be that he allows them, even though they don't care about that. But in the right, and he holds also that signs are the right. Otherwise, he wouldn't let you in the first place. Ten or tov et benon or heg bekalayim ubekli or koi. Whether or not the mother and the child applies to a hybrid and a safek animal koi. A hybrid applies to even a product of a goat and a sheep that were together. And the halacha of slaughtering the mother and child as well applies to it. But regard to kvi koi, Ain't no total no there's no problem. Don't matter his or is there a question that that? What mahoket is the koi talking about? Right, it's a specific animal. So what type of specific animal? Toma? This is a child that comes from a goat and a deer. Actually, that was the case. If you want to say that the male goat went with the female deer and had a child, because you saw the deer and the child that came from the goat and the deer on the same day. However, it says, "Como din mehish sevia ubenata ish." Everybody agrees that in the case where the mother is a female and the child is goat, coming from a goat, yani, you're not chayav for slaughtering mother and child same day. Seb ben Amar Hanaf, because Torah says sheep and goat and child. Don't see not the deer. Ela about Tisha. We had the misbetomar case where the male deer was with a female goat and then it gave birth because Shahid Lebraha, then you're slaughtering the goat and the baby. That's considered Utava Bino. Problem is, Amar Hizar, it says, Hakomadin Behit Shab and Sviva Hayav. Everybody agrees that the mother, if it's a mother's female goat and the father of the deer, that child is Hayav. Sam Rahman Abdul any type. Must be that there is no machloket over here. Everybody seemingly agrees. The Gemara says, Le'olam bet ha'ish haba tzveh. Really, male goat, female deer. Bi'adha bat a female child, which is a koi. Ubat she'ada ben, the female koi gives birth to another child. V'kashahit le ubera. You're slaughtering the koi and that child on the same day. Rabbanan sav Ravashin zerav. Hachmim hold you are by the father. Now the daughter, which is the original koi that had child, is considered part set. When the pasuk says set, any type of set. But Elazar Savar in Hashem Zerav, and Elazar says, no, I don't care about the dead. They said, Shakim Sat said, we don't care about part set. But that's like Machine Zerav, so if that's the case, why don't you say the Mahlok is based off the well, if we worry about the father? But look at Hanan Rabban, same Mahlok that Hanan Rabban, like we said before. Why is it made new Mahlok by Koi? The Gemara says, Ipli Bahif, I mentioned over there, by a regular case of male and child, Havamina, Bahaf, maybe you would agree that maybe you would say that, by Koi, you would agree that maybe it doesn't apply. This is like maybe you don't say that a part set counts as otova beno. Mashal therefore, how you say no? Same halacha would apply. But the Tanan Mishnah says koi in shahatina to tov. You cannot slaughter a koi in tov. In shahatov, if you slaughter it in mechasim nedama, you can't do kisu adam. Right? Halacha is you have to do kisu adam on a on a haya or a bird that got slaughtered. You have to cover the blood. So now you can't do it in tov because it's safek. If you did slaughter it, you can't cover it. Now what type of koi? Even if you want to one case that a male goat with a female deer, and therefore it's a koi with the mother of his deer. Ben Abraham says you could agree because tzvi feel necessity because it's considered a deer. And deer you would cover it considered a hayat. What is the opposite? Male deer, female goat. Either one, if you want to say Hamim, you were with that. The Shchav say you should be able to cover it because it's considered part there from that. Either Bezer, from the Bezer, the Shchav say you should slaughter no problem without covering it because we don't care about the father, we don't care about the deer. So why can't you slaughter him dog? La'olam, where it says the tzvi about Tishat, in one case, male deer, female goat. But around Safukim, it's not clear how if that's the case, how come you're definitely, according to Hamim, definitely not covering it? Because he's not sure whether or not we're choshesh. Okay. Umadiran and Safkilu, now, if you're saying we were not sure, that maybe say that Elazar is definitely certain that we don't care about that. But I think it says, Has Robo Lachim Vakiva, when I give the Kohen Bekline. Talacha of the Kohanic gifts that they get the leg, the jaws, and the stomach of the Kohen applies to a koi and a cross-breeded animal. That's what it says, a hybrid animal that came from a goat and sheep is chayav in the gifts as well. Bekoi regarding koi, patum regarding patur. I'm asking about the bekoi. If you want to say it's a male goat, female deer child, then bishlam makes sense because they're patur. Because the first step because he doesn't hold part says chayav in the gifts. I don't know what Hamim who say part who says koi is chayav in the gifts. Nehit the kasav sev makes sense. That must be that he holds it is considered partial. But we said before that Hamim are not sure whether or not we care about the dead. And therefore, a koi that comes from the male goat should be considered part set. And then why would they be giving the gifts to the kohen? Where it says, okay, you know what? Makes sense regarding half the gifts they don't give because half of it is a half, definitely not half a half deer slash half set. Idach palga, but the other half, which you do have to give to the Kohen, lema le'aiti raya hashin zera'av lishko. Because technically, he should be able to tell the Kohen, if you want to get this gift, if the proof to me, then I have to get it. The proof to me that I the dad. It's like Hamusim Havro ala baraya. You have to bring the proof if you want to take it from me. But in case of a male deer with female goat that had a child, which means that they only would give the gift from the female goat, sorry, male deer, female goat. Based on makes that you have to give it. ما حياة ومن حياة بحث مثلا to give half from the mother. إلا اللي بتقدر كان هذا اللي حياة كل ما تنام, but you don't care about the dad. It should be considered a pure goat from the mother, and therefore it should be حياة fully. Mar says لو بتسويها بعد يشابه هذا. Not male deer, female goat. فربنا زر ربنا زر نعم specifically إذا حشنا نزرعها, and we're also not sure. Kumar says, okay, 1 second. The Kevin, the Lebanon Safko, Goraz and Safko, Makli. If the Abuzar and the Hamim are both not sure whether or not worried about that, what's Mahloket? Versus Bisa, I feel Musasa. Their Mahloket is based off of whether or not you say the idea that if it's partial set counts as a set. Lebanon Sabri said Hamzazet. Lebanon knows that as long as partial set, Chayav and all the halachot of set. As their Savar Sev Musasa, and whether holds that set is not including in the set. Partial set is not included in set. Therefore, לעניין כיסוי אדם מתנות regarding covering the blood and giving the Kohen gifts, לא משחד אלא בצבי הבעלת ישע, you only give if it's a male deer with female goat. דבין רבנן דבר בסף כאילו אין חשוב לרעב though, because they're both not sure whether or not you care about the dad. They come before בשלב בסנסן, therefore מחלוקת only whether or not you is a partial says included in set. Therefore, חכמים would hold that it's a hybrid. You have to worry about it. Laser hold, no, I don't care. It's not partial. Partial doesn't count. So regarding kisu adam, if it's a male deer, female goat, it's technically partial deer. Um, because according to Lazer, we're worried about the dead. According to Hamim, however, you might need to do. We might be worried about the dead. Therefore, you might need to do kisu adam. Now, in case of the father, the mother and child slaughtering halacha, ben b'tei shabbat it's hayav whether or not it's a male goat with female there, but ben it's via and whether or not it's a male deer and female goat. Why? B'tei shabbat via v'lisra. Regarding female goat and female deer, where it can be considered a partial set from the father, it might be chayav. It runs because Hamim was worried about the father. Se va'afil mitzat and he holds by partial says Yisur. Basur. But as I says no, Nehid Nami Dachshin Zarav. Yes, we're worried about the father. Seva Film says but we don't care if it's partial se, therefore it's not applied to the koi. Now, Betzi Havat Shav Malakut, regarding to the koi with a male deer with a koi that came from a male deer and female goat, it's considered only a se from the mom. And rather than that, you get Malkut if you saw a mother and child same day. But don't start hold. Nehid Nami Dachshin Zarav, and that you worry about the dad. Miseva Film says we don't hold the partial se, therefore you're patur. Umakinle. Sorry, it does include it, and therefore you would be a chayav makud if you slaughter them both on the same day. But as Savar B'Davar would hold, Yisura Ika Makud Leka. It's chayav, but you're not chayav malkut. Yisura Ika, you're chayav. Because maybe we don't care about that. The high seven, and therefore this from the mother would be considered a pure set. If you're chayav malkut, Leka, but you're not giving malkut based off of that, because Dima Hashin Tra made you do worry about the dad. They say after the one the whole partial set, and therefore it won't be a chayav over here. Therefore you can't give malkut out of safet. We'll stop here. I'm not going to